Welcome to the guide on becoming a Masternode for Wienchain. Here we will learn how to set up a Masternode, making you an integral part of the Wienchain ecosystem. If you haven't installed a VPS server, please do that first. You can find directions to doing that by clicking on the link here or going to the Wienchain YouTube and seeing a video explanation. Now that the VPS server is up and installed, we're going to connect using SSH sudoing to the previously created user and run the command below. So we're going to log into the SSH as before, sudoing to the previous user, that was mn2. So I'm going to do su minus mn2. I am in mn2 user. I can check it as you can see. We now need to go to GitHub to check that we have the latest version. So we're going to do that now. On the Wienchain GitHub, we will go to official releases. We will go to the latest release and copy address. I am using a Linux, so I will copy the Linux address. I will then go back to the terminal and paste it here as you can see. And running that, it is going to be quick enough, so we are going to extract it easily so you can see it in the IMG. I'm going to follow that up. We are going to extract. It obviously won't be the same version, so let's have a look. So let's extract the last one here. It is 1.3 at the end. Okay, it is extracted. As you can see, we have the same thing then here, Wienchain middle dash CLI and Wienchain middle dash D. And here it is not mn1 because I was using mn2 as a user. So we were just going to take this command here. To run it so that the Wienchain server is started, we are going to validate that it is running by checking the process. It is running, so we are going to have a look what has been created. As you can see, there is a .wienchain folder. Let's go inside. And there, as you can see, debug.log. Yes, it's here. We're going to till it to see what it's doing. So as you can see here, it is synchronizing the blockchain as normal. We did not get this error, so we're just going to continue. I want it to be quicker, so I'm going to add some nodes. So we're going to add these lines into the terminal. We are going to add them one by one. This way it will sync quicker. Now we have gotten the error that I was speaking about before. When it happens, it will only happen one time. So let's restart the Wienchain node. As you can see, it is not running anymore. Let's have a look. Yep, as you can see, no more Wienchain, so let's run it back. Okay, it's running. You can see it here. Now let's continue to add the node we were adding before. I'm going to now do something to make the process quicker and easier. So if you want to make the process quicker and easier, you go to this link right here. We're just going to take the address here and add it to the terminal. So it's still going slowly, so we're going to just continue to add more and more nodes, as you can see I'm doing here. Now let's check the log to see if it's going quicker than before. So as you can see, we have the progress here, and it is still taking time. Let's add a few more nodes. What you can do to help make it quicker is to know our public address. This is 139. If we could use something closer to this, maybe it will be quicker. That's great. There is one here. Yeah, you can see it was very quick. Let's see if there are others. We can check the difference. Not that much different. Checking if the process is still running. It is. I'm going to stop the process and restart it again, just because it's not moving quickly, and this is a good opportunity to show you how to stop it, how to kill the process. Validating that it is here or not here anymore. It is still here. Killing it with the highest priority. It is not there anymore. Let's restart it. Okay, now let's have a look to the debug. It is definitely progressing this time. Okay, if you want to exit that command, you have to do Control+C. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. So once it is synchronized, you will see a different output than this one. As you can see, now is not sync. The most important thing here, the node is not synced. So we'll wait a little bit until it is synced. So you can open another terminal running this here and see the progress. So we're going to let it run for a while. Monitoring it if accelerating or not, and doing other things in the same time. Okay, now we're going to install the Qt wallet. Here it is for Windows desktop, but we're on Mac, so we're going to install the one for Mac, which is almost the same. We go to the official release here. It is the 1.013, and we're going to download this part, which is for OS X. Something you need to know is that if you use it on Mac, you will need the latest version of Mac called Catalina. On 10.15x, it will not work. Okay, it has been downloaded. Now we are opening it. It is going to run the installation. While this one is still executing, I'm going to add a few other nodes. It's just a matter of chance, actually. It is still going on 1344. Okay, anyway, we have Wienchain app that is here, so you can just move it to the application folder. Going to continue to add 139 dot to add some more nodes, 1438. Okay, while the sync is running, I'm going to run Wienchain here. You have to select the Wienchain app, right-click, click Open, and here click Open and it will work. I am not going to allow notifications. I did not have to unzip it because I have already done with the DMG for Mac. It is going to run directly and there is no welcome screen here. But the good news is going to synchronize automatically, which is great because on the previous version, this was not the case. Okay, so here it is calculating. The process is running correctly, so you are seeing it is going to take 12 minutes. It is probably going to take more time than expected. I am going to let it run like that until it is synced. Going back to the Qt wallet client, which will be finished in less than 1 minute. Okay, let's go back to the tutorial itself. So I can show you how to access the debug console. It is a bit different on Windows, but not so different. You go to Tools and then Debug Console. You can see the network traffic that is working. We have the peers that are using the sync, are being used to sync the blockchain. We can see that some of them are using the latest version. Thinking that should try to add some nodes. Try to add. Okay, it was quick. Maybe this will be a lucky one. Okay, going to let it run. Cool, so here we have 18 seconds left. That's great. It was quick, so basically if on the client side you have the difficulty that I have on the server side, just try those command inside and it shall help you sync the blockchain. Do the same exactly here. Go into debug. Here we have the console. And basically you could add the node like that. If I'm going back to the tutorial itself, you can try copying that and running it inside the debug console and run it. Basically, it should add another peers here, and it should help you sync the blockchain. In our case, we are already quick, so we do not need that, and we shall be synced within 9 seconds. Okay, so once we are synced, we shall see something a bit different. So the first thing that we are going to do here is get to create an address to pay for prox TX fees, the pro transaction fees, and we are going to just create it here. So I advise you to create a note here so you can keep track of what you are doing and make sure you have everything and that you can copy and paste. One more second and it will be synced. So I'm going to create that one, which is basically that address for the Pro TX fees. So let's do it. We're going to run that inside the debug window. It is still synchronizing, but it should be done very soon. We go to Tools, Debug Console, and we run it. And we get our first address that I'm going to copy and paste here. And continue, as it said, I've marked the address here, which is, for us, different obviously. So we're going to send some wien inside the fee source address, and we will need to wait for 15 confirmations. So here I'm going to use the web wallet to send some money. My web wallet is on a separate computer, so you will not see it here. Basically, you will use the web wallet and enter the address that is this one. And you send some wien, not much, just enough to pay the fees. As you can see here, there is a little clock. It means that basically we have one confirmation but need 15. Okay, so while it is going to be confirmed, 15 confirmations, meaning 15 minutes. We are going to continue. So we receive the token. You shall also see your transaction directly using the address we just created. If I'm doing something like this, using that address I just used. We shall see the transaction. Okay, you can see it here. We have 0.001, and it was just sent a few minutes ago. Okay, so let's continue. We need to get the masternode address, so this is the main important masternode address for the collateral. So we're going to do exactly the same as before. We're going to come here, going into Tools, Debug, getting our address, copying that address and putting it in here. To make sense, I'm going to put this one we just execute so I can remember this is the masternode address. Let's continue. Now we need to send exactly 25,000 wien to the masternode address that we just generated and wait for 15 confirmations. Again, I'm going to do it on my web wallet, and then I'm not going to show it here because it's on a separate computer for security reasons. Making sure that it is the right one, and send 25,000 wien. Okay, it has been transferred. We can now close this window. And we can see here, we just received the 25,000 wien. It is going to take a bit of time. If you want to find back the address that you have generated, you can definitely have a look here on the receiving addresses, and you will see the one that you used. Let's go back to the receiving one. I just sent it, so we need to wait 15-minute confirmations as well. Okay, so we're going to generate the voting address, which is very important because you'll need that address for voting, and it is useful for the DAO. So let's generate that one as well. I'm going to copy and paste that one so I know which one to use later. Keeping it here and continuing the tutorial. So here we need to execute the command masternode output here inside the debug, so we will know what is the collateral hash and collateral index. That being said, let's run it. Yes, we have it as well here. I am going to mark down the result, writing down in the notepad. Done. Let's continue. So the number here, this is the transaction ID, right? So the one we just get here, this one is transaction ID. So we can definitely validate that this is the right one using the Block Explorer. It is going to be a transaction ID. Here we have the address of the previous wallet, the one used for the fees. I'm going to run this one here, and I'm going to have the transaction right here. This is the transaction of what we sent. This is the 25,000 that we just sent. So now I know it's the address that we use this for. We can double check here and we can see that the Masternode address is the one finishing up by NA, beginning by W. So let's go back to that, beginning with W, finishing with NA. So if I click here, I can see that my 25,000 was sent, and the transaction that was doing the one just browsed before. Okay, I lost everything here, but basically this number is coming from the Masternode output we just generate before. Let's continue the tutorial. Now we need to generate the BLS key pair. So let's do the same. Here I'm going to generate that. So copy, pasting the BLS generate inside the debug. We are going to copy and paste that part. Copy. And also BLS generate command here. That was the one to generate that. Alright, let's continue the tutorial. So from here we shall copy the part and edit wienchain.conf. But this part needs to be done on the server side. So let's head to the server. Let's have a look at the debug. As you can see, it didn't wait for me and was accelerating quite a bit. So let's just be a little bit patient with the sync. We are here at 42%. Meanwhile, we can still edit the file, this one to add the thing we need to edit inside. Okay, so you can see I am writing done, but it's not working because I've been ejected from the server. I need to connect back when this happens. Okay, let's connect back, sudoing to our server user. Okay, as you can see, we are in the right space. I'm going to edit the conf. So I'm going to use Nano because you guys find it easier for you and a little bit more friendly. So basically, I'm going to edit and add the following. The file is empty by default. So it's quite easy. We are going to add daemon equals 1, so we don't have it in the command line. We're going to have to add masternode's BLS priv keys, and we will set masternode equal 1. Now that we just generated before, so this is the secret. It is not a secret anymore, but do not worry, I will change it after the video. Okay, basically that's done. I'm going to save it. Control 0, and I'm going Control O, and I'm going to exit by doing Control X here. Okay, I'm going to validate it indeed, saved and correct. So it is correct. If you are not sure about this one, because you know it is not easy to make sure that everything is correct, what you can do is asking our friend Google, searching that and see that you can see it is used here exactly the same. So basically it's correct. So for this, we will need to stop the Masternode server and restart immediately. So let's see if it's already synchronized, because we will be happy if this is the case and we don't restart for nothing. It is 96%, as you can see. It shall be quick. Let's wait a few more seconds. It should be okay. Meanwhile, the next step, once we start, is going to be the preparation of prog-reg-tx transaction. It's going to be a little bit different from what we did before, but not that much, because we already have the information that we need. So, just to prepare correctly and following the guide correctly, the one thing that we do not have actually is the notepad and the IP address, which is something I'm going to copy right now, just like this. I copy the IP address and I'm putting it here. And the port is always 8888, so that's good. Let's have a look here. We should be done. 99%. It's going to be done very quickly now. I'm going to run the command to make sure that we are synchronized. So let's back up here. and run that part. Okay, we are not synced yet. Almost done. And we are synchronized, which is great. I'm going to stop that process. We have generated the BLS. We have to edit the Wienchain.conf. Now we are going to stop the server. So just run the command and kill the process. Obviously, the right process is the Wienchain D. This is obviously that one, so we are going to kill the process, taking the PID here. Validating that it is killed. It is not. Let's run it with a -9. It will just take time actually. It is stopped. So we're going to restart it. We don't need any more to use the daemon parameter, as it is just inside the configuration. We still need to disable the wallet, and it is started. Okay, that sounds good. Let's validate that we are still in sync. We are not, and we need to wait a little bit to be in sync here. Okay, in the same time, while it is going to be synchronized, it is synced now. As you can see, it is synchronized. We're going to continue to prepare the ProRegTX transaction. So basically, we need to replace all things that we have here. So the thing that we are going to miss here is the payout address, and this is an important one. You need to have a payout address to get your reward. So let's get going back and generate the payout address. I'm going to use as a paired address and web wallet address. Okay, I'm going to use this paired address. I just need to prepare everything, so we need to be careful about things. First one is going to be the collateral hash. The collateral hash is actually the transaction that we get before. This is one, so we have that one here. Here's collateral index. That was actually the 0. Then we are going to have IP and port, which is basically that part. And then we're going to have the owner key address, which is that part. So what is the mapping for that part? It is the voting address. So we're going to use the voting address we generate before. Which is here. We're going to use the operator pub key, which is the part the VLS generate that we have here, so we are going to add it here. The voting address, which is the same voting address, so you can use that here. The operator reward is going to be 0. The paired address is the one I have here. The fees address, this is the one that I had in the beginning. This is that one. Okay, so be careful to use a space and not enter. It needs to be on only one line. So basically here you can validate everything, and we need to copy paste that part inside the debug console. So this is what we're going to do here. And so once it's done, let's copy paste the output. And continue the tutorial. So now we have to sign that PORTEGTX transaction. So how to sign it? We are going to have to run that command. We're going to put the command sign message. We're going to fill it up correctly, so it's going to be your Masternode address. Masternode address is going to be your Masternode address here. And the one you can use also inside the PROGTX. You can put it here. Second step, this is the message you need to sign. Where is this message coming from? The message is coming from the sign message here. So let's copy paste it completely that way. As you can see, the first one is also the first one that you have here. And we are just going to sign that message inside the debug. Okay, let's continue the tutorial. As you can see, we have another output, which is the same than here, which we're going to copy paste that output, keeping it here. And following the tutorial, we're going to sign this. So let's continue. We copy that here. Next one is going to be the number that we get before, which is so we're going to have the transaction that the serial transaction previously turned into the TX output from the prox.t register prepare command. We keep it here. So this is that TX. So we are going to do that. Another part is going to be message signed with the collateral key from the signed message command. And the signed message command is that one. We take the one that we have here. Okay, we're going to copy and paste that command inside in the debug as well. And we get the result. You can copy paste that result here to keep it for later, but it's not that important. Because once you have done that, you have a new transaction that should appear, which is payment to yourself. Okay, so let's have a look. Need to close that part, which can see that we have a payment ourselves. We can also see that all other commands have been confirmed more than 15 minutes ago. And now what we are going to do is follow the tutorial and enable the Masternode tab. Okay, so we're going to setting, option, wallet, and it's going to be in preferences, display, wallet, show Masternode tab, and now you have to restart. As you can see, it is still running. So I'm going to be patient and wait for it to stop. Let's start again. As you can, it's going to connect to peers and sync the moment it's out of sync. It is normal, don't worry. I'm going to take a bit of time. You can see, you can check it again in debug console. In network traffic, we have some peers, so no worries to have. Okay, we're going to click on Masternodes and click on My Masternode Only. And we need to wait for a while we sync. As you can see, your transaction, it is still in need to be confirmed. It is taking a bit of time. Okay, once we are synchronized, and we shall see the status enabled and the next payment. So let's have a look here. we can have a look to the transaction. I am just going to replace the TX here. Validating that is undefined, which basically means it is not included, it is not confirmed, is that the fees that transaction is going to use. Some transactions are still unconfirmed. Okay. Now, after a while, you can see your address. Masternode is enabled. You have been registered under this block, and the next payment will arrive on 160810. So if you compute that the next payment is planned to be in 4488, you can wait around 7.4 hours for the first payment. And the first payment will be sent to your payout address that you have defined and that you can see here. That's all for this awesome tutorial. This is the payout you shall see in 7 hours, 196 Wien. And that's it. Have a great day, and welcome